Hello and welcome back to my channel. And as you can see, today we are not in Cove, we are in Strangetown. And it's looking a bit different because I have renovated it. And I still want to build a few lots, but I've already played one round with all of the families, so I thought it was okay to give you a tour now. And first of all, I want to say this hood was so hard to make over. It was so hard. Strangetown is actually the smallest neighborhood in The Sims 2. There's only 11 lots, I think. Yes, yes, that's it, 11 lots. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, it's gonna be so easy, in Cove. I ended up building around 70 lots. I mean, some of them are repeat slots because there's row houses and stuff like this, but it was still a huge neighborhood. But even though it took longer, obviously, but I think Cove was easier. The reason why is because Cove has a really clear aesthetic, at least in my mind. Like, I really wanted it to look like New York. But for Strangetown, I had a really hard time figuring out what I wanted to do because, well, what I'm trying to achieve when I do these lots renovation is that I want them to be realistic. Maybe not 100% realistic, but I want to feel like, yeah, this building could exist in real life. And obviously, Strangetown is not meant to exist in real life because it's so weird and all the houses have a different aesthetic. And yeah, so at first I did a completely different renovation. I wanted to do something more like very futuristic with lots of neon lights, like almost cyberpunk. But it didn't really work. It looked really goofy, so I ended up scrapping almost everything and starting over. And this is the hood that we have now, but I'm really happy with the results. Wait, I need to show you the sky. Sorry. Yeah, I think it looks really, really good, and it's really fun to play in it. So today I want to give you a quick tour and show you my makeovers for all the families. And I'm going to do things a bit differently than what I did for Belladonna Cove because, well, that was my very first video. So I was extremely nervous. So I forgot half of the things I wanted to say. And, I ended up just like showing all the trays and the aspirations and everything. I think it's a bit boring, especially when there's a lot of sim. So now what I want to do, I want to focus more on the storytelling side of things because this is a neighborhood. And what I'm trying to do is I want to connect all the lore and all the stories from each neighborhood. I want them to be all connected so that it creates this giant story that is my Uberhood. So yeah, that's what we are going to do. I think we're gonna go down this way. So we can start with the Spectre family. Alright, so we have arrived at the Spectre house. This is one renovation that I really, really like. Well, I didn't touch the garden. I mean, I have some tree defaults, but I didn't touch the garden. Like, I just changed the seat color and I added some candles. But I didn't do any landscaping because I don't really like doing landscaping, and I know that the ghosts are going to make a mess anyway. Actually, they've been really good at cleaning up the ghost mess. I try to have them do it every day because, yeah, as you can see, there's some... wait, I forgot what it's called. Anyways, but yeah, the ghosts, they come up every night and then they leave puddles everywhere, and so I didn't really bother with the garden. But this is the house. I wanted to give it a more New Orleans sort of style. I actually really like it because the original house is not bad, but I really hate the big triangle roof that it has. I think this one looks much nicer. I didn't really change much of the inside. Let me show you. Yeah, there's a flower because Ophelia went on a date with Johnny. All right, so this is the house. There's the dining room. And there's a bar because Olive's hobby is cuisine. But I say that she's not into cooking, she's into collecting nectar and like expensive alcohol. So here is the kitchen. Yep, that's Olive in there. And that's Olive's quarter. So they have this, her room. This is her room, sorry. And she has her own bathroom as well. And then here there's a little staircase that leads to the basement, where it's a laundry room. And there's a torture dungeon. I mean, it's kind of empty, but the whole point is just you would just trap someone here. Actually, I downloaded some magical clutter, so maybe I will furnish it a bit more, but yeah. And then on the other side of the house, sorry, I'm kind of fighting with the camera here. And get into tab mode. Okay, so this is the dining room. And you will notice that there's a lot of candles all around in this house. And it's because, well, I have the electrical box mod, and the electricity goes out a lot in this house because it's very old. So yeah, they use the candles a lot. Okay, there's a computer. I know it kind of breaks the decor, but I need a computer in all of my household, so yeah. This is Ophelia's bedroom. Right, and she still has toys. There's a changing station because in my mind this was kind of nervous subject's room, and then Olive never really changed it, and when she had to take care of Ophelia, she just gave her this room, but she kind of feels like a guest here, like it doesn't really feel like her room. But yeah, and she also has her own bathroom. Okay, so the reason why I wanted this house to look more like a New Orleans style is because, well, first of all, I imagine that Olive is really into voodoo. So to me that was fitting, but I also imagine that Strangetown used to have a lot of houses like these, like maybe 50 years ago before the military took over. I imagine that it was a town more centered around magic and spirituality, and maybe not magic, not like regular magic with witches and wizards, but more something around voodoo and spirituality. And so, yeah, but Olive's house is actually the last house from the old Strangetown. And Olive herself, she's the only Sim who actually remembers what Strangetown was like before. And so I imagine that that's the reason why she became a serial killer. It's because she saw the government and the military arrive in Strangetown, and they pretty much destroyed the community that was there. Like they forced people to move away, or maybe they did even more horrible things. And the reason why I have these theories because, you know, in the community lots with all of the shop, they have this weird hangar with a pool. And then, like there's this weird building with lots of computers and then a hangar with a pool. And to me, it kind of feels like a security agency. And maybe they would torture people in the pool. I mean, it's kind of dark, but Strangetown really gives me creepy vibes. So yeah, I imagine that Olive witnessed all of that when she was young, maybe when she was a teenager. And since then, she decided that she hates the military and she hates the government. And that's why she became a serial killer. right? Because in her yard, I mean, she killed all of her husbands, and I imagine that maybe they were all soldiers or something like that. And also all the NPC that she killed them because they worked for the military. So in her mind, they were complicit with the government. Right, so let me talk a little bit more about Olive. Can you stop doing the dishes so that we can see you? Oh, she's very creepy. Whenever I play with them, like, I know I'm the player, but I am spooked. She scares me, okay? But yeah, I wanted to say a little bit more about her. So, what can I say about Olive? She is supposed to be 83 years old. I imagine that she's really old because I think she was already an elder when Ophelia was a child. So yeah, I didn't really bother fixing her aging because, well, I'm gonna change my aging mode soon, so I don't think. But yeah, still has a bit longer to live. And her traits really quickly. She's a supernatural fan. She's evil. She's a snob, a night owl, and she's brooding. So, like I said, she kills all the people that work with the military, and the way that she kills them is by using voodoo. And that's why she was never caught, because she used her powers. Like, she has a power to communicate with spirits or something like this, and she uses that to curse people, and then the people die, but it always looks like it's an accident. And because she's never actually laid a finger on her victims, then it was never proven that she killed them. So yeah, that's why she was never caught. And she also killed her sister, which are Ophelia's parents. And I'm not actually sure. I see two possibilities. Either her sister discovered what she was doing and she tried to stop her, and so Olive killed her and her husband, and so that she took Ophelia in hopes that she would be able to teach her like her voodoo magic. Or the other possibility is that because when you use voodoo, there's always like a price to pay. So maybe the spirits were like, well, you keep asking things all the time, and so we're gonna take something from you. And so they took her sister because in her memories, she's actually sad about her sister's death. Like the other one, she doesn't really care. I mean, she cared about Ichabod, I don't know. But the other one, she's just like, yeah, they're dead. It's life. So I don't know. That's the thing about Olive. She's very mysterious to me. And I feel like even as the player, I don't always know what she's thinking. And so she always keeps me on edge. But she's also very scary. I don't like her very much. But yeah, she lives with her niece, Ophelia. She keeps playing with that housemate. Let us see you. And she is currently 17. Her traits real quick. She's a hopeless romantic, she's neurotic, and a light sleeper, and excitable. And that's why I gave her an additional fear, because her bio kind of implies that she has anxiety. Relatable. But yeah, and she's one of my favorites. I've never really played with the Strangetown premade before this. But yeah, I got really attached to her. So she's dating Johnny Smith, and right now it's summer vacation, so she doesn't go to school. Well, you can't see because it's always summer in Strangetown, but it's summer in all of SimCity this time. Yeah, and well, the funny thing about Ophelia is that her hobby is music and dance, and she's a Virgo, and she's a blonde. And she lives in a house like this. So I was kind of thinking, yeah. But yeah, she has no creativity skill at this point, so we need to work on that. But for her future, I think she will not go to college, even though she has a want for it, because well, she has zero interest in school. In my game, you need to pay for university, and I don't think she would want to ask her aunt to pay for her tuition because, well, I don't think her aunt would agree anyway. But I think Ophelia doesn't feel really comfortable asking her for things because, well, one, she always says no. And like I said earlier, she always felt like a guest in this house. So I think she's probably just gonna get married to Johnny really, really young and then move out as soon as she turns into an adult, basically. And I also had a bit of a trouble making sense of her relationship with her aunt. I mean, while I've been playing, she's been trying to bond with her, even though she finds her really intimidating. But as you can see, the short term relationship is really low because, I mean, they talk to each other, like they don't hate each other, but it's always very distant. But Olive actually has a higher relationship with her, so yeah, I don't think Olive would harm Ophelia because she's like her last descendant. I mean, there's also Nervous, but he's not there at the moment. And yeah, I think maybe she hoped that Ophelia would learn voodoo and become her heir, but since she has no interest in it, she's a bit disappointed. And she wrote this once, so I interpret this as her saying that, yeah, she can marry Johnny. And that's actually really funny. When I played the Smith, I did Johnny's birthday, and then she just crashed the party. But it was not during the party, it was right after. And she immediately went to talk to him about wedding. And so I kind of interpret this as her saying, like, okay, I know you've been seeing my niece, but where I come from, this is not how we do things. So yeah, she kind of put a little bit of pressure on him. And I also imagine that she wanted to check that he wasn't going to join the military because obviously she would not have accepted that. So yeah, that's it for this family. And I think what I want to do after Ophelia moves out, when Olive passes away, I would like to turn this house into a community lot. Because I really hate playing with the ghosts. Like, it's funny the first night, that it's really annoying. It's really annoying. They always make a mess and then they keep scaring the Sims. So I think I'm going to turn this into a community lot because Strangetown is a really small town and there's not a lot to do. So I can see this old haunted house becoming like a secret teenagers meetup, and maybe they would dare each other to go into the cemetery at night or things like this. I think it would be fun. But yeah, that's it for this family. Alright, so we are now at the Smith household, and this is one of my favorite renovations for Strangetown. I think it's the one that I did first because, I mean, I knew from the start that I wanted to build a dome over their house, and my inspiration for it was actually SpongeBob. Because, in SpongeBob, there's this squirrel character, Sandy, and she's a mammal living underwater, so her house is in this sort of bubble thing. I thought it was funny, and because there are aliens on Earth, so I wanted to recreate that. But I mean, of course, they can breathe the regular air, but I guess Polynesian technician, he wanted to recreate the perfect suburban atmosphere because Strangetown is a desert. So it's not exactly like you can't really have like a green lawn and everything, and so that's why they have this artificial atmosphere. And yeah, like I said, I had this idea first, but I didn't actually know how I was going to do it. I thought maybe I would have to build some sort of structure with sheets, but it would have been very difficult, and I would have had to completely destroy the house and rebuild it again. Until I remember that in The Sims 3, there's this park with this dome. There's a park in Bridgeport with this dome, and I thought it would be perfect if someone converted it into The Sims 2. And so I went CC hunting and I actually found it. I even found two versions. And so I was so happy because, yeah, the Sims 2 community is actually incredible. And we are getting to the point where if you can think about something and imagine it in your head, somebody already thought about it before you and they already created it. Like, this is amazing. This is really amazing. And this dome is also really well made because when you go inside, once you zoom in, it's not in the way at all. I can click on things and I can play like normal. It doesn't get in the way at all. And it's just the front of the house that's a bit difficult to access, but I just position the camera like this and we don't have any problems. Ceilings. All right, so this is the entrance. And then you have this living room corner. And then, yeah, I changed the stairs to a spiral staircase because there's not a lot of space upstairs and the landing looks strange, so I changed it. Right, so this is the dining area, and then they have this really nice kitchen. And then through this door, this is Jenny and PT9's bedroom. Gonna wake them up in a sec. They have this sort of really small room and I didn't know what to put in it, so it's empty for now. Oops, sorry, it's a bit cramped. And then they have their bathroom. There's another door back to the room. Right, and then here they have a little toilet and a laundry room. And then here they have this little study slash library. I guess I can show you the garden. So this is actually a door. So they have this little barbecue and they have a pool. They have a really nice lawn, of course. There's a pool and then there's a swing and a little golf course. Right, and they also have this deck at the back. Yes, we can go through this way. It's funny because when I play The Smith, I always make them invite Rip and Buck. And Buck is always sitting there. Like, he's the only one who ever comes here, but I guess it's his favorite spot in the house. It's really cute. All right, so this is the upstairs. That's the landing I was talking about. Like, it's really cramped. With a regular stair, it looked really weird, so I changed it. This is Jill's bedroom. And that's Johnny's bedroom. It's very simple. I didn't change it, even though he's an adult now. That's the kids' bathroom. And they have two other empty rooms. Like, not just empty. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about this family. You will notice that they really don't have a lot of money. The reason for that is because in my game, I make the Sims pay taxes. They only pay once a year, but it's based on their property. They have a really nice house. So their taxes were really expensive, but the only member of the family that works is Jenny, and she's only a nurse. So they're really broke. I mean, now that Jody is a young adult, well, you can't see it, but he does have a job. I think he's a store clerk. Wait, what's the name? Convenience store clerk. Yeah, but basically they are living paycheck to paycheck. The reason for that is because PT9 does not understand how money and capitalism works. Like, he is obsessed with the humans and he wants to live just like a human, but the only thing he knows about human culture, he learned them through movies and TV shows. And so he wants to have like the big house like he saw on TV, but he doesn't understand the cost of things. Okay, so this is PT9. I call him PT9, Pollination Technician 9. And yeah, so my headcanon for him is that he does not understand money and he does not understand capitalism. He wanted to have a really nice house because that's what he saw on TV. But he doesn't understand the value of things. And of course, Jenny tried to explain to him, but it's very difficult for him. It's like, imagine when you go away on vacation in a country that has a different currency from yours, you have no idea how much things are supposed to cost. Like, people can give you a price, and yeah, you can do the conversion to see how much it would cost in your currency, but you have no idea of what's a normal price, what's cheap, or what's a scam. It's very difficult if you don't have like a sort of point of comparison. But PT9, he can't even do that because the alien have no money at all. So he just hears numbers, but it doesn't mean anything to him. That's why their family is really struggling. He doesn't really work either because, well, I think he's a bit too old. He already worked his entire life. Like I said, he doesn't understand human culture that well. I mean, he doesn't understand money, so he can't do any job in retail or anything. So, well, yeah, and I think it works better for the family with him being a stay-at-home dad. And so, oh wait, I need to show you his trait real quick. So he is a bookworm, brave, adventurous, absent-minded, and lucky. And then we have Jenny. She is good, nurturing, family-oriented, great kisser, and loves the heat because she's from Strangetown. Alright, and so pollination technician, he is 72. No, he's probably older than that. Does that change? I feel well with my spreadsheet. Yeah, he's around 80, but I guess he's an alien, so human age doesn't really mean that much to him. And Jenny, she is 49 years old. Right, so I imagine that when PT9 arrived in Strangetown, it really caused a panic in the military because they thought, well, this guy is a spy and he's probably coming to prepare a great invasion or something. So he was probably questioned a lot. He had to go through a lot of investigation until they eventually figured out that he was not a threat. And he completely abandoned the alien world and he wants nothing to do with them anymore. So he was allowed to buy a piece of land. I guess they built the house with Jenny's savings, right? So yeah, the land was granted to them by the military, and that's why they're allowed to live in Strangetown. But it's also actually because they want to keep PT9 under surveillance, so he's not really allowed to leave Strangetown because he was questioned so much and he probably saw a lot of things. And now the military doesn't want him to go out and talk about their secret projects. So yeah, he is bound to Strangetown. But the other members of the family are free to come and go, but he has to stay here. Alright, so like I said, Jenny's a nurse, and she actually she works in a little military clinic. I'll show some pictures. It's really cute, but like she takes care of the soldiers and everyone who lives in Strangetown, because there is a main hospital in Belladonna Cove, but if you live in the middle of the desert, it's a bit hard to travel all the way downtown if you have a cold or something. So that's why I built a little clinic for the Strangetown residents and the military. Yeah, but like I said, the family just lives paycheck to paycheck. Like when I played, the electricity was out, because no one had mechanical skill points. They had to wait like 2 days to call a repairman because I didn't want anyone to be electrocuted. Okay, and then we move on to Johnny. He is now a young adult. Like I said, I made his birthday on the first day. So he's currently 19 years old. Yep. He's 19 years old and he is charismatic, athletic, easily impressed, and star quality and a virtuoso. Because Johnny's dream is to become a rock god, but he didn't go to college because his parents have no money. So he couldn't go, and he took a little casual job like in town just to help them pay the bills. So basically, he kind of sacrificed his education for his family. And I think it suits him because his bio says that he wants to be a prince or something like this. So I think he kind of sees himself as, not that he sees himself as a hero, but he has this desire to be like a good person and to be someone that other people can rely on. Yeah, but I think he doesn't really see this as a sacrifice, because I see him as a very optimistic person and he's very self-confident, and so to him it's obvious that he's going to become a famous singer and he's going to be successful and super rich. So he doesn't really care that he didn't go to college, because he's still young and he's slightly delusional. I mean, he has no creativity skill. I might cheat them up a bit for him and Ophelia, because it doesn't make sense if they were into music, right? But that they wouldn't have any skill, because I have a skilling mod, so it's very hard to earn skill points in my game. So if you want to be really good at something, you have to start from a young age. So I might cheat that up a little bit. But yeah, we'll have to see. And then there is little Jill. She is currently 11 years old. Wait. Oh yeah, I didn't fix her aging, but yeah, she will become a teen like at the next season, which will be autumn in SimCity, not in Strangetown. But yeah, she's a bookworm like her father, photographer's eye, and she's a dog person. And her bio says that she's really into dolphin and the sea, so that's why I decorated her bedroom like this. And I imagine that she would like to work in oceanography, which means that she will have to go to college. And so they will have to figure out a way to pay for her tuition. But they still have a bit of time. She's still a child. I don't have much else to say. Like, of course, she is best friends with Buck Grunt. But other than that, I don't tend to really micromanage the children as much. I mean, they're just kids, so if they just want to jump on the couch for 2 hours, I just let them. So, yeah. All right, so we are at the Curious House. I wanted to show it at night because it looks really cool. Originally, I had put neon lights all around all the roofs, but I was worried that my computer was not gonna like it, so I just kept the top part. But yeah, this renovation was one of the hardest because I did it twice. I did the first version and I didn't like it at all because the Curious House is very iconic, but it's also very ugly. So I had a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do with it. But my idea for this lot is that it doesn't actually belong to the Curious Brothers. It's a house built by the government, and basically it's a dorm for all the scientists. I imagine that once you reach a certain level in the science career, you are sent here in Strangetown to help work on the space program. Yep, so let me give you a tour of the house. I mean, I guess we can go back to daytime. For the inside, it doesn't matter. Okay. So you enter through here, and there's like this hallway, and then you have this nice big communal kitchen, and then there's a little TV corner, and here I think I just put the electrical box. Okay. And then through these doors, you have this big hallways, and then here there is sort of a bathroom that someone didn't clean. And then on this side, there is a small lab. I will build a community lab to pretend that they go to work, but they can also work from home if they want to. And then here through this door, you can go to the greenhouse. And it's mostly Laszlo that takes care of the plants. And then this is the laundry room. Right, nothing too special. That's the elevator here. And there's a little workshop to build robots. Because I would want Strangetown to have servos instead of hiring services. Because in my mind, they're really isolated in the desert, so it doesn't make sense for the maid to drive up with her van like all through the desert. So I think they could have robots instead. And this is a scientist bedroom. It's not occupied, but I built a lot of bedroom like this, and they'll have their own private bathroom as well. And let's go up one stairs, right? So you come up the elevator here in this nice area. And so this is, well, Laszlo's bedroom. Yeah, he's a smoker. That's Laszlo. And then, oh, where am I? Okay. I think, yeah, that's Bitcoin's bedroom. So everyone has their own bathroom, so there is no fighting. There's a little terrace with a telescope. Yeah, the room in the middle is the alien nursery. Right, and this is Pascal's bedroom. Okay, I think I will get out of tab mode because it's a bit disorientating. Okay, so we were on this floor. Right, that's where the three brothers sleep, and then there is an upper floor with 3 more bedrooms. And then Up again, there's this empty room. I don't think I will put bedrooms in there because they're a bit far and it's gonna take too long from the Sims to just go down all the stairs. But I think I might put some hobby stuff when we have more scientists. And then up you have this telescope platform if you want to get abducted by aliens. I mean, there's telescopes everywhere on this lot. Yeah, so let's talk about the brothers individually. First, we have Pascal, and he is 40 years old. Right, so he's the second oldest after Jenny. And he is adventurous, workaholic, socially awkward, genius, and perfectionist. And he is currently pregnant with an alien baby. Right? And well, that's pretty much it. Like, he hasn't done anything special in this round. Well, he wants to be a witch because he met someone that was recently turned into a witch. I'm not gonna say who because it's a spoiler, but you might see it in the next video. And then, oh my god. Sorry. Then we have a Wittgens. I'm laughing because of his wants. Okay, so he's brooding, inappropriate, brave, eccentric, and adventurous. I think I made them all adventurous because, I mean, they all want to go into space to meet aliens. Right, so he's also a scientist, he's a field researcher. I think he was promoted once. And yeah, when I played with the Beaker, he autonomously flirted with Cersei, and now he's in love with her, but it's unrequited. It's unrequited at the moment, but yeah, he's really obsessed with her. Like, he wants to go steady, and he wants a baby, apparently. Yeah, I really don't like Bitcoins. I don't know. He kind of feels like, I don't know. I feel like he has a bit of a victim mindset in my mind. That's kind of the vibes he gives me. But anyway, then we have, oh, and did I say, yeah, Vidkund is 34, and Laszlo is also 34. Hmm. Okay, maybe something went wrong in my spreadsheet, but whatever. Can you get it? Alright, so Laszlo is a slob, a heavy sleeper, eco-friendly, charismatic, and a great thumb. And he was promoted to a science teacher. And I think that's really funny. I haven't played with the high school yet. Well, I didn't build it. Right now it's summer vacation, but next fall he will be working at the high school. I think it will be very funny because I think he might have a bad influence on the students actually because he smokes and he kind of has this hippie vibe, like he doesn't take anything seriously. So yeah, I think it will be really fun. Originally, I thought I would reserve this position for Cassandra Goth, but then yeah, I just think it would be more fun if Laszlo is a teacher. So we're gonna have to see what he gets up to. So here we are at the Beaker's house. This is also a renovation that I really like. Yeah, the thing with Strangetown is that I like a lot of the house, but I don't actually like the families. But anyway, yeah, I think it looks really cool. My idea for this house is that it was actually built by Mortimer Goff because Mortimer is a retired mad scientist. And so I imagine that he is actually the one who built the science lab in Strangetown. But then Bella disappeared and he suddenly decided to retire, and I guess the lab was sold back to the government. And since then, they picked Loki Beaker to be kind of the lab manager. after Mortimer, and that's why they were able to move into this house. Yeah, so let's give you a tour and you will see. So the inside is actually very Victorian inspired, and I thought it was really fun to pair like this very futuristic high-tech exterior, but then you enter inside and it's like old-fashioned. It kind of feels like a submarine to me. And also this is the entrance, and then that's the kitchen. My windows are glitching a little bit. And yeah, and I actually didn't change much on the layout. I mean, obviously I replaced the tower by this glass. I guess this is a greenhouse, I guess. But everything else, I didn't change the layout. Well, except for the basement, because it looked like a hot mess, but everything else is the same. So here you have this little hallway, and then there's a bathroom, and it also serves as a laundry room, and there's a floating pregnancy test kit. More on this later. And then here you have the living room. Yep. What I find really funny is that, like, this is the secret door bookcase, but it actually fits perfectly in their house, even though, I mean, the beakers are from the base game, and this bookcase is from Apartment Life. But it's like it was meant to go there. There was this gap that was exactly this size. So yeah. And now actually I'm gonna show you the rest of the house, and then we'll go into the secret lab. So upstairs, right, that's the thing, and then this is Lucky's room. I don't know whose room was supposed to be whom, so I just put Lucky in here. He used to have a bathroom, but now he just has a view on this beautiful tree here. And this door leads to the balcony outside. And you can go back inside through here. Right, you are on the other side of the hallway. So yeah, I hope it's not too confusing. I'm just spinning around, but there's a small bathroom. And then right, it's a second living room, I guess. And then through this hallway, you get to Cersei's bedroom. Oh, she's already up. Yep. And she has her own private bathroom. Right. And then outside, well, there's a whole lot of terrace here. I guess they would have enough space to have a pool, but I don't know. I don't think they would care about that. They're too busy working in their basement. Oops. I need to go up. Okay. Right, and they also have a telescope here. Okay, let's go down to the basement. Right, so if you know the secret way, you can go through this. And this is just a lab. We have a second living room with a TV. And obviously it looks a lot more modern. I imagine that this is where they keep all their research notes from all of their experiments. Right, so there's a biology lab. And I mean, there's a small bathroom here, really small. But if you go down with the secret elevator, you get to this part of the lab, which is where nervous subject sleeps. I think he's okay. Yeah. Right, so that's nervous. So yeah, he has a little bathroom over here. And this, oh, the ceiling is glitching. Yeah. right? And so he has absolutely no privacy because the beakers, they take turn just observing him. And then on the other side, they have this room. I mean, even outside, but they have this room to conduct all sorts of crazy experiments on him. Well, I put down all of the objects, but I actually don't make them use it because I feel like it's too cruel. Like, I don't want to play this out, but you can imagine that it happens. But I'm not actually making them do it. Like, I don't want to play that part. Okay, so Lucky is currently 39. I was gonna say 49, but 39, and he's evil, ambitious, eccentric, genius, and perfectionist. And yeah, he's an inventor. And like I said, once I build the lab, he will be the one who owns it. Right. And yeah, so my story for the beaker is that they took the lab after Mortimer Goff. And actually, Mortimer, when he was a mad scientist, he was working on developing this elixir of life, but he was never able to complete it. And then he suddenly retired from the scientific community. So Loki really sees this as an opportunity for him. He thinks that, well, if he is able to complete Mortimer's research, then he will become the greatest scientist ever. So that's his ambition. But then we have Cersei. She's enjoying the what's called the air conditioning. It's a mod that I have. And she's also 39, like Loki. She's also evil, ambitious, mean-spirited, night owl, and neat. And actually, I changed her career because normally she would be in the medical career. But I really didn't like the idea of having her working at the hospital and then taking care of all the other Sims in the neighborhood. I just didn't want to do it, so I made her a natural scientist instead. And so now she's actually in a competition with Lucky to see who will complete the elixir first. So they're kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but instead of being spies, they're scientists. So yeah, they have this very weird toxic dynamic where like they're obsessed with each other, but at the same time they're always trying to one up another. They are both master manipulator, and they are both aware that the other is trying to manipulate them. And so yeah, that's how they live, I guess. Then we have poor nervous subject, and I age him down to a young adult simply because when he eventually escapes from this place, I want him to just have more life to live, being free. And yeah. So he's straight. He is unstable, a snob. He's really shy, a light sleeper, and inappropriate. Well, I guess because he wasn't raised conventionally, I guess. Like, he doesn't really understand social norm. He feels a bit like Edward Scissorhands to me, in a sense that he's always been isolated. He's very innocent and kind, but he doesn't really know how to interact with other people. And yeah, in his room there used to be a computer here, but he used it to invite over Pascal Couriers. And so the vicar took his computer away, and he was also chatting with the social worker, which I thought was funny. But yeah, the vicars didn't like that at all. And I'm not sure what I want to do with him in the future. I know that I want him to escape from the vicars eventually, but I'm not sure how it will happen. I was hoping to see if he would appear like on the community lot or somewhere, but he hasn't. I guess because he's shy, he doesn't really. Well, he's not shy anymore. It's because of the unstable trait, like his personality keeps changing all the time. But I have never seen him on another lot, not as a passerby or not even on the community lot. So he hasn't really met anybody. But yeah, I don't know. So I'll have to figure out a way, or maybe I can have his mother track him down, or maybe someone, or maybe the Beakers have to go through an investigation. I don't know. But yeah, right now that's how they live. Okay, so we are now at the Grant household. I like this lot. I think it's very cool. I actually kept the exact layout of the original house, but I completely changed the style. I really like it. I think it's very militaristic, I guess. And yeah, I just made the house a little bit wider because otherwise there would be routing issues, especially upstairs because it was a bit narrow. But other than that, it's the same layout. So let's have a quick tour. So I guess the main entrance is here, even though there's also a door at the back of the house. But then you have this living room. The thing that was a bit tricky with this house is that I wanted it to look drab and like very plain because it's a military provided house. But at the same time, it's the general's house. So it has to look a bit expensive because the general is supposed to have the nicest house. So yeah, I think I did okay with that. So wait, here you have the dining room. And then the kitchen. Right, so the walls are very plain. There's like concrete everywhere. Here, concrete stairs. Here, there's a small bathroom. Well, it's not so small. Bathroom. And then here, I actually put a gym because I didn't think it made sense to have it upstairs. So now there's a small gym here. Wait, let's go back to the stairs. Right, so that's the landing I was talking about. Like it used to be really narrow, so now it's a little bit easier to maneuver. On this corner here, this is Rip's bedroom. You can see he tried his best to hide the plain walls with what he had, and he's also really into music, so he has a guitar. And then right across the hallway, this is Buck's bedroom. I keep wanting to call him Bo, but that's Buck. It's a little bit more colorful, but not that much. And I also gave them all these military green blankets because it's not that they have to have them, but I imagine that the military just provided those blankets by default. And then General Buzz was like, well, those are perfectly good blankets. I don't see why we should change them. And so we'll have those poor impersonal rooms. Right, so on this side, this is Tank's bedroom, but Tank already moved out to the military barracks, so he's not here anymore. And this is the bathroom. Oops, and as you can see, Rip has been showering. And yeah, it looks very gray and dull. And this is the General Buzz bedroom. Right, and because there was some space, I gave him a little office. Right, so I guess if there's an emergency, he can contact all the troops from here. And then he has a bathroom here. Okay, and then I need to show you, well, there's this amazing helicopter tower that was really, really fun. I mean, it was a bit annoying to build, but it's really fun. And the Sims enter by the elevator here, and then they go through here. And it's actually usable. I tested it. So yeah, it's really funny. Like General Buzz can go pick up the groceries with his chopper. And then they have 2 running courses now. They have a little barbecue area. And then this is a little garage. Yeah, the general, actually, he goes to work. No, he goes to work with that car, but he also has this other car and then the helicopter. I mean, he's a general also. But then there is also a secret bunker downstairs. Right, so you go through this way, there's a power generator, and then a very high-tech entrance. And then, okay, yeah, you have this armory. I guess it's not really an armory, but this is where the general keeps all of his ammunition and weapons, and some of them are functional and it might come to play in the story later. Right, and then here you have a kitchen with like canned goods and things if you ever had to survive an alien invasion. And this is the sleeping quarters, where you have a small laundry room here, and then yeah, there's 2 beds here, there's 2 other beds here, and 2 beds here, so you can fit 6 Sims in total. And there's also a bathroom, right? Those are showers. And there's a toilet and a sink. Yeah, because I imagine that Buzz really think that the aliens are preparing an attack. So he always wants to be prepared. Yeah, so Buzz is 48. He has no sense of humor. He's athletic. He's mean-spirited. He can't stand art, as you can see from the lack of decoration in his house. And he's brave. Oh yeah, and I gave him a silver badge in cosmetology because I imagine that he's the one giving haircuts to the new recruits. Like he's the one shaving their hair off. I thought it was funny, but yeah. What else did I have to say about me? Yeah, I thought it was funny. And yeah, the thing with Buzz is that I actually like him as the general. Like when I play the military barracks, like he's really fun to have him like come and intimidate the recruits. But as a father, I really hate playing this family. I really hate it because it's so depressing. Like Rip and Buck, they're just cinnamon rolls and they don't deserve to live in this sad house with like a really harsh father. So yeah, yeah, I can't wait for them to grow up and get out of here. But this is Rip, and yeah, he doesn't have school because it's summer vacation. So Rip is 16, and he's a virtuoso. He's a couch potato, a slob, and a loser. And yeah, he really does not get along with his father. But he's very friends with Rip and with Buck, sorry. And of course with Ophelia and Johnny. And he's also bi, I think. Yeah, he's bi. So he hasn't met anyone yet. And he has one bolt with Ophelia, but she's with Johnny anyway. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, he also wants to be a. Oh, I need to fix this. It's supposed to be a rock god. I guess I must have forgotten to change it. Oh yeah, that's because I changed his aspiration to pleasure instead of romance. So yeah, but his lifetime wish will be rock god. So I guess his dream right now would be to create a band with Johnny and Ophelia, but of course his father is never gonna let him. So yeah, and then yeah, and Ophelia is also grounded most of the time because of her aunt. So yeah, they have to grow up until they can have a bit more fun. Let's see Buck. Buck, he's 10 years old and he's easily impressed, neat and good. And yeah, his personality is really interesting. He always wants to clean stuff. And I'm always fighting against him because I'm like, oh, you're a kid, you shouldn't be cleaning. But he really enjoys cleaning. And he doesn't like playing with toys and stuff. So I guess he's really mature for his age. But yeah. Yeah, and right now it's summer vacation, so they are stuck home all day with the general, which is not that fun. So yeah, it's just a little bit depressing, but that's how it is. And actually, they live right across from the military base, so I'm gonna be able to wait, go there. Yep, and I don't want to save. All right, so we are at the military barracks. I said the military base, but it's actually the barracks. And this is where the new recruits come to train. And I took a lot of inspiration from Tiadic's video on her military subhood. I know it's part of the Build a City challenge, but I've tried this challenge many times and I could never stick to it until the point where I get to build a military, but I always wanted to play it. So now I get to do it with my Uberhood. So yeah, this is where the recruits will live when they are level 1 to 4, and then when they get promoted to level 5, they will get to live in a detached housing. So let me give you a quick tour of the lot. So the main entrance is through here. Wait, camera is so slow. Okay, so the main entrance is through here, and oops, wrong button. Right, so this is the mess hall. Sorry, that was the stairs glitching out. Right, so, and I have a mod that makes it so that there's a cook that spawns, like in university, so there will be someone cooking for them. Right, so there's your bathrooms. And then they have this little phone booth because I see that the recruits, they are not allowed to carry a cell phone when they live in the barracks. So if they want to call someone, they have to use the main phone here. Here outside, it's supposed to be a place where there was table as well, but because the general was giving a speech, I just rearranged it, and then I was too lazy to put it back. They have a cigarette vending machine. And yeah, this is where they do their exercise every morning, and they have to do it at 4 a.m. because then it's too hot during the day. I mean, in The Sims, it's always hot even during the night, but this is just an excuse to torture them a little bit more. And right upstairs, there's this little recreation room. And the soldiers, they really like playing poker. Like at the end of the day, they all gather and then They talk about their lives and then they just play together. It's really cute. There's this little TV, and then this is the men's dormitory. Right, so this is their bedroom. We currently have 4 recruits. I will introduce them later. Ouch. Yeah, we don't have any female at the moment. Right, and then this room, this will be for a junior officer. And it's a bit mean, but the reason why I put a stereo in this room is because in here they have this speaker. And if you turn on the stereo, then it will wake up all of the Sims in the room. So right now they don't have a junior officer, so there's no one doing this, but that's how it will work. And then there's the bathroom with communal showers. Right. And then upstairs again. Oops, sorry. This is the laundry area, and everything is full, so they have to do the laundry. And on this side, there's the women's dormitory, and it's identical to the men's. Right, so there's nothing special. We have the same layout. And then on this side, they have a little infirmary, because if someone gets sick, you don't want them to sleep with all of the other recruits, otherwise everyone will be sick together, and you don't want that. So there was already someone sick on the first day, so that was a good addition. Okay, so that's the main building. And then here there's the training course, and then these little boxes, they are isolation cell, is a like solitary confinement cells. Like if someone gets too many reprimands, they will get to spend a few hours here and think about their actions. Right, there's 3 of them. And then here in this building, well, there's bathrooms. Okay, but then upstairs, this is the inside gym. Right, if it's too hot to train outside, or if someone has a day off or something, they can go train here. Okay, and then down there is also a basement. And I always put restroom everywhere because this is a really big lot and you don't want Sieves having to walk all the way around to go to the bathroom. So yeah, I put them everywhere. But this is the shooting range. And when the Sims get promoted to Elite Forces and up, they can go train here, and this actually builds their mechanical skills. Right. So that was a tour, and let's meet the recruits. So first we have Agile Loader, who is, well, a Sim who is in the Sim bin in Strangetown, and he's really supposed to be a blank slate. Like there's nothing, he has literally no story. So, well, the only thing that we know about him that he is searching himself. So I thought, well, he can do that by becoming a recruit and testing his own limits. So he joined the military. And he's currently 31, and he is a natural cook, supernatural fan, friendly, clumsy, and good. Yeah, he has all the tables that I put away. Right, and then, wait, let me show you Tank first. Of course, this is Tank Grunt, and now he is a young adult. Right. Yep. So he is currently 21. He is a schmoozer, sorry, athletic, hot-headed, neurotic, and grumpy. And he's actually not that mean. I thought he would be much toward the grouchy side, but well, he's okay, and he's quite shy too. And the thing about Tank is like I think he's really trying to impress his father, but the general when he comes around to the barracks, he's always interacting with all of the other recruits, and he's kind of ignoring Tank. I think the reason why is because Buzz expects his son to do great, so he doesn't really acknowledges him. Like he never gives him praise because to him, well, it's just obvious that he should do well. So yeah, he's much more willing to praise a stranger than Tank, which is a bit sad. And then we have Justin Cleveland, who is he is a premade from Belladonna Grove. Originally, he's a teenager, but he grew up, and since he had a part-time job in the military, now he is a full-time recruit. Yeah, if you watch my last video, I did mention that Jason Cleveland died. That was his father. Right, he died on the day that he became a young adult. And then he also broke up with his girlfriend, Tara DeBattle. There was a whole drama. Basically, they broke up because of his mom. Because his mom doesn't like Tara, and she insulted her, and then Tara insulted her back. And Justin, because he's a coward, he took side with his mom. And Tara didn't like it, so they broke up, and now he's here. But I was expecting him to be like really depressed and cry all the time, but he's doing alright, and he became best friend with Tank, actually. So yeah, they seem that they're doing okay. And then the last recruit is Brendan Lillard, who is, I can't see his face. Yeah, he's just a Pleasantview townie, and he randomized the military career. So he was much higher up, you can see by his skills, but I bumped him down, and now he's a recruit like everybody else. And yeah, he is. I mean, his traits are all random. I didn't pick them, and apparently he bought a pizza someday. But yeah. And he is 35, and I think I already said HI is 31, and then Tank is 21, and Justin is 19. Right, so we have gone down through all the families, and you might have noticed that actually there is one household missing, and that would be the singles. The reason why they are missing is because, like I said, Strangetown is a military base now, and it wouldn't make sense for them to move into a house in Strangetown because they're just civilians, and none of them is working in the military career. So now they live in Belladonna Grove, and I'm gonna show you their household. So we are now at the singles household, and they live in the Tech District in Belladonna Grove. Right, so this is Tech Terrace. This is where the Tubato live, and they are in this little townhouse. So their house is quite empty because they don't have much money. I imagine that they just graduated from college, and then they decided to move in together to save on rent. They just moved in, so they don't have much furniture, like they're sitting on boxes. Right, so they have their kitchen here, and then up we have this landing with a little desk. There's a really small living room with this really old sofa, and they have this large balcony this house would be really nice once it's furnished. But now they don't have much, but it would be really nice to have parties in it. And then here there is a small toilet, and the bathroom is next door. Right, and then up again is Erin going down the stairs. It's a bit cramped, but this is Erin and Kristen's bedroom, and they both randomized pink as their favorite color, so that's why their room is all pink, all girlies. Yeah, and actually they're both gay, and so they started flirting with each other, so I might give them a double bed soon. On this side, this is the twins, Lola and Chloe Curious, and they have this nice closet. And that's the house. So there's not a lot of space for 4 Sims, but yeah, they are really broke. Yeah, really broke, but anyways, let's talk about them. So first we have Erin Beaker, who is Loki's younger sister, and she's currently 26, and she works in the paranormal career. I need them to wake up. Wait, let me show you her traits. So she is absent-minded, supernatural fan, mooch, vegetarian, and lucky. I'm gonna let the other wake up so I can show you Kristen. Why is she? Oh my god. ACR. Okay. This is Kristen Lost. And she is 25. And she is ambitious, supernatural skeptic, a snob, friendly, and athletic. And she works in the athletic career. So I imagine that she is in the female soccer team for SimCity, which is called the SimCity Dams. Because I mean, I googled it, but apparently the female of the llama is called a dam. And so they have the same logo as the male team, but they're the SimCity Dams. But she's the only player at the moment. I think there are also 2 townies in this career, but yeah, I'm waiting until the Uberhood expands a little bit more so we can have more Sims. Alright, so now we have Chloe Curious, and she is 28. She's an animal lover, a great kisser, a kleptomaniac, childish, and she loves the outdoors. And she doesn't have a job at the moment because she doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life, and she's just happy living, day to day. And then we have Lola. Curious. Well, she's also 28, just like her sister. Oops, the camera is a bit wonky on the top floor, sorry. And then, okay, her traits is that she's friendly, perfectionist, perceptive, social butterfly, and she loves the cold. I think even though she's from Strangetown, she can't stand the desert heat, and she's really happy to live somewhere else. Right, and she works as a campaign manager, and she is actually a candidate for the city council elections that will take place in fall. Now you can see we are in summer, and then in fall we will have the elections, but of course I'll make a video on it when the time comes. And well, actually that's it. I've shown you all the Sims. I don't have any crazy storyline for the singles yet. I mean, at the moment they've just arrived, they started mingling and make friends. Yes, she made friends with Daniel through work because they are co-workers, but yeah. She has been flirting with Erin. And she's also attracted to Lola, but I don't think they flirted. Yeah, so Lola is a lesbian and Kristen as well. And I think Erin is bi and Chloe is also bi. I actually made her straight first. Well, she randomized as straight. But then I have the actual alcohol mod in my game. Once she started drinking, she started flirting only with women. So I just made her bi. Yeah. So that's it. That was my tour of Strangetown. I hope you liked it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.